I'll set you up. Let's talk about the movie. So, I work in post production and documentaries as my career. It was looking like there was going to be a bit of a break before my next project, and I would potentially have like the whole summer off, which was financially, of course, not super exciting. But I figured, I have the summer off. I just moved home, and I knew I always wanted to make my first movie in my hometown. So why not do it while I'm here? At this point, I didn't even really know the concept of the movie. I'm gonna have to write one, so we'll do that. And I wanted it to be a feature. Thinking like, what? Okay, I'm starting to already tell people like, I'm making a movie this summer. Do you want to like be in it? Do you want to like be a part of it? Maybe help me, like whatever. And I don't even like know the concept yet. Let's, keep that in mind. I have low resources and I don't have a lot of people to be in the movie. So I decide, dang, I'm going to have to be in the movie, I think. Not an actor, have not acted before, but a lot of people in the movie haven't acted before either. We're just doing it for fun. And also, I was going to be directing it, and if I wasn't in it, I was going to be filming. So I was like, to make this a little bit easier, let's do a body switching movie where the main character, can be played by two different people. One is me, and then she turns into another girl, so that I don't have to be in every scene, so I could still really focus on directing for some scenes. And then the other girl doesn't have to be here every single weekend and make this movie. That's how the body switching portion came to be. So I basically, like, I wrote the movie to make it. I just drove around town and reminisced and thought about all my memories and places we could film, and then the story kind of like came from there. Like, it was inspired just by my surroundings. Nothing in the movie happened to me per se, but I like felt the same feelings that the characters felt, I would say. And I wanted also like everyone in it or who worked on it to be from the area, because there's a special quality to my town, like I said, and I wanted the people who were working on it to understand. And I also wanted people to know me too, because this is my first time like making a movie, and that's like special to me. And I didn't want any added pressure of like not knowing anyone and like kind of feeling alone in it. Like March, April, I started to realize I was going to have the summer off. So I was like, okay, I just need to start telling people that I'm making a movie and see if they are interested in helping or being in it and whatever. So I was walking in the woods. I'm talking to my friend Nate on the phone, and I'm like, I think maybe I should just use my phone. But I don't know, because I don't know anything about lighting either. He's like, yeah, maybe you should use like one of those Osmo cameras. And it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I write it down. I knew I wanted to have a sort of like gimbal look to the movie, because the nature is so prominent here that I wanted there to be an almost like omnipotent force behind the camera that kind of like floats around. And then I look up this camera that I'm using now, and it's this little camera. It's literally tiny. It's this big. But it has a gimbal built in. So I was like, this is absolutely perfect. I got this camera for $800. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. But I had, some money saved up, and it's an investment. The first girl I ran into my friend's little sister at the gym, and I know she loves movies too, and that's all I really like needed in a crew or people in it. I just wanted it to be someone who loved movies. I just asked around, had my brother ask around. Jada, who I think is amazing in this movie. My brother worked at the hardware store with her boyfriend, and she was interested in being in the movie. So, and now she's in the movie. So, yeah, we just kept asking around. Two of my good friends from high school who still lived in the area, and I know they have a good eye for movies. They love movies. And I was like, "Do you want to help me make it? Like, be part of the crew?" So, the idea for the crew was like I could direct it. If I'm not in it, I could film it, and sound. DJI makes it so easy because we had these little like Bluetooth clip-on mics that we use. There's two of them. The days that I needed a second hand is when I was in it acting. I can't hold the camera if I'm on camera. So Sabrina, or Maddie would come and alternate. We just had a two-man crew, me and Sab or me and Maddie. My friend Nate introduced me to Ethan, who also knows my brother, who hasn't acted before but wanted to like get into it. And he's like this 21-year-old kid. I think he's 21. And then kind of like a special appearance, a smaller character who's super important is my like best friend Jordan's little sister. Then like May, I just kind of planned the shooting schedule and the locations, and I wanted to film a lot of it outside because it's just so beautiful here in the summer. There's only like a few scenes inside, like in the whole movie. We used my friend Meg and Brian's house for some interiors. We used Maddie's house, who was part of the crew, for some interiors. We used my house for some interiors. And I'm not good with lighting. I don't know anything about lighting. So I was like, let's just use natural light. Like I mentioned before, I'm in post-production. Like, I'm an editor. I want to make movies. I just am not totally well equipped to do each position by myself, camera, lighting, sound, directing, writing. But I decided I wanted to make a movie on, my summer break. So I had to figure out all those things. We just tried. And that's actually what I wanted to get into earlier, is like I really want to literally like speak the gospel of trying as a concept. Like I was so afraid to make a movie. This is the first thing I've ever made, like since I was a kid. And like school projects that I obviously like were required to do. In college, when it would like be the time to make something myself, I was way too afraid to try and to put myself out there in that way. I think the lighting is better now. I don't know, the sun's going down. Like I said, I'm not good with the lighting. I'm not good with the cameras. It's more the story. It's more the vibes. What's so cool about this camera too is you could see yourself on your phone. Like it was a director's monitor. Oh, sorry, I'm not talking to the mic. Unprofessional. Yeah, so I made a really amateur movie, but it was super fun. It was literally, I had the greatest time of my life. It's kind of about like body image and sexuality and like being your authentic self and like just accepting yourself and not being embarrassed of who you are. And that's just like such a huge thing for me. The movie was just about like accepting yourself and like the power that gives you, really. So we shot it over the summer. It took us the whole summer, basically. We started on June 21st, funnily enough. That's the summer solstice. We actually ended the first weekend of September, I think. We didn't shoot every weekend, but basically every one of those weekends, we shot at least one day, one night. The longest days we had were 5 hours. Some days we only, did something for 2 hours. Yeah, so it took us like 12 of those days that were like 3 to 5 hours long, probably. And yeah, the movie will probably sit around like 50 minutes, and I will probably tighten it to like 45. So it's more of a featurette, not in the way of a, sometimes they call a featurette a behind the scenes for a feature, but I just mean it's kind of in between a short and a feature. Because also my mind just works in more of a feature way, and I think shorts are really hard to make, and I was almost too nervous to make one because I feel like they have to be so perfect, and I kind of wanted more leeway to experiment and try new things and not even be so intentional about the shooting process, which I was. I planned it all out, but also leave room to be kind of to follow your gut instinct and like let the camera move you. You might say. Yeah, how else should I explain we made the movie? We didn't really rehearse. I had like a shooting schedule with each scene, which weekend, and I would send out the scene again on like Wednesday, and we would shoot on usually like Saturdays because that's when everyone had off work. And I would change the pages. I would rewrite the scene every single week. And we would also like rewrite it, while we're there. Like they would say a line, and I'm like, does that sound weird to you? Like, just say whatever you would say. As long as the scene had the same function in the story, I didn't care much about like the dialogue. For some lines, you do, of course. I feel like we just had a really relaxed, fun shooting. It was nice to see each other every weekend, mostly every weekend. We're from a small town, there's not a lot to do. This was something super fun to do. Like, it was a blast, like, to create and just make a movie with, like, your friends. It really was just like, oh, it was just honestly the best thing ever. Now I'm in the editing process. The best process, the best stage, the editing. I love editing. I have to do a selfie angle now because my camera's charging. But yeah, now we're currently in the editing process, which is the best part for me because I am an editor and I just feel most akin to editing. I have a rough cut already, which is just very by the books. I just edited, I got the best takes, whatever. Edited the scenes as they're written. Sean Baker says he takes like a 3-month break between shooting and editing. So I was like, well, Sean Baker like says so, like I have to. I finished a rough cut in September. So September, October, November, and now it's like the end of December. So taking off 4 months so I can get a fresh set of eyes and kind of look at the movie in a totally different way and not just edit it to the script, but really like create my own narrative to it. And we'll see what we could do. Maybe it will be like a whole different movie, but we didn't shoot a lot. We only shot exactly what we needed. So it's not like I have tons of room to play with, but I think I could do some like cool stuff. I shot some extra, B-roll and whatever for this very reason. I don't know why any of us need to like wait for permission to do the things we want. Let's do it. Who cares what happens? And especially if I want to make movies, I feel like I have to practice making a movie before someone gives me money to make a movie. So why not make a movie with no money? Except, I bought the camera and the mics and some lenses. Altogether, it was like $1,000. So the movie cost $1,000. That's just what I've realized. Like, it's almost like I didn't want to make anything before because I felt like it needed to be perfect. Don't let yourself not do the things you want to do because you're scared that they're bad. Bro, my movie might be bad. I like it because it's like the exact movie that I wanted to make. But to some people, it might not be good. What I realize now after doing it is I don't give a fuck. It does, bro, it low-key doesn't matter. Like, it actually doesn't matter at all. Just see if you could do it. That's really all, like, all of us did in the movie. It was just like, let's just see if we could make it. The sun is disappearing on us. So, I think I'll say goodbye, or else I'll say see you later. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the movie because I was kind of keeping it a secret, but I don't want to keep it a secret. I want to share. And also, I want to make it very clear that I'm not afraid of trying. That's why I'm not going to wait until I see if this movie is really, really good before I talk to you guys about it, because it's okay to try and to show you guys that I'm trying to do something, whether or not it's like perfect in the end, because I know it won't be perfect. It's literally the first movie I've ever made. Why would it be perfect? Thanks for watching. Peace and blessings. Happy New Year. And happy 2026. Let's see what we could do, folks. Let's absolutely get it.